Since we've been building our platform, and we've been very fortunate to get to the point that we've gotten to where there's a level of consistency now on, I wouldn't necessarily say expectations, but I would definitely say that we've achieved another level of growth, which is great. But one of those places where we were able to achieve that growth, especially in the very early stages of Israel's genocide in Gaza, was a clip that we put out on TikTok that was maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes long, but it was basically a descriptor from Jen about what was happening, what was going to happen, and what we needed to do about it. And so this clip went viral. In fact, if I were to go check it out.
Are you playing Me to Me? Are you playing Me to Me?
I'm not playing it. I'm just letting people know why this is a significant issue in terms of what's happening right now. Because if anybody is not currently following us there on TikTok, right now we have a clip that's been viewed over 250,000 times. It's been liked over 40,000 times. It has over 1,200 comments, and it's been shared over 5,000 times. And again, I bring this up for this reason. The Zionists are trying to take over TikTok as we speak, and they're very close. And one of the people that has made it their mission in life to get them there is Josh Greenblatt, head of the ADL. And here's
Jonathan Greenblatt.
They're all the same as far as I'm concerned. Sorry.
He's disgusting.
Yes.
He's so disgusting.
So here's what he had to say regarding TikTok.
You must take this deadly seriously. Pushing extremists off Wikipedia might not seem equal to the challenge of pushing Hezbollah north of the Litani River. Capturing TikTok might seem less meaningful than holding on to Mount Hermon. Libelous tweets certainly might seem less deadly than missiles from Yemen.
There's one thing I think we can agree on, that anyone who has a slightly objective eye about everything that's going on here, you need only to listen to his actual words, which are, we must censor everything. Otherwise, people might actually question what we're doing.
Well, he's evil. He's like, he is an evil individual. And for people who don't know, the Anti-Defamation League has nothing to do with anti-Jew hatred. It may have started that way. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't care. But it is now just a mouthpiece for the Zionist agenda. And it has been for many, many decades. And many of the times over the years, long before this current Palestinian final solution that we're in, the ADL has claimed and whined about anti-Semitism when it hasn't been for years. Out of all the time, the majority of the cases that they cite as instances of anti-Semitism, when you look at their data, the majority of those instances have had to do with criticism of Israel. That's been the case for a long time. So when you would see something from the ADL saying, oh, anti-Semitism is on the rise, and I mean prior to now, it was always like manipulated numbers. They included things that weren't anything having to do with hating Jews, and they basically would cook their numbers. So he is a Zionist agenda mouthpiece. That's who he is.
Finish it up.
But this is urgent because the next war will be decided based on how Israel and its allies perform online as much as offline.
Unfortunately, Jonathan, your people only are your people because you pay them to be your people. See, the Palestinians, they don't have to pay people to be their people because we're just the people on the right side of history, you ghoul. That's why. So, yeah, I mean, he's just so gross. He is so gross.
Not familiar with that documentary, but I would imagine that it probably is very reminiscent of what we would anticipate it would be, which is scream loud, scream forever. Now, eventually, people will just go away. But it seems to me that this story is going to get much, much worse. And there is a reason why they are doing this. So, Colin, I need the Chris Manahan story with the link for the story regarding the Wall Street Journal, if we are able to get that. So here's what's going on, guys.
Hold on one second before you go on. Let me just say, yes, Ross, please do. You'll catch up. We can definitely still mock her. Thank you. Okay.
From Chris Menahan, TikTok, which the U.S. government moved to ban last year for allowing criticism of Israel to go viral, is reportedly now in final talks to be bought by a small group of Zionist billionaires. For those of you who do not know who the individual is in that photograph, it is Larry Ellison, at times the second richest man in the world, and at all times the biggest donor to the IDF. So when we say we have a oligarchy problem in this country, this is what we mean. It doesn't matter what us individuals on the outside are doing. For the people that control the levers of power, they are owned hook, line, and sinker by men like him.
Yes.
They don't care if people are upset because in their mind, and maybe rightfully so, they are convinced that they're not going to break down the gates, that the people are just not going to fight back. They're not going to rebel. They're not going to do what history has shown time and again is what needs to happen. I don't want to have a revolution, but what the hell else is there? How else do you think you're going to stop a person like this?
Well, can I say that, first of all, someone who's never been on TikTok, I had stopped doing social media before TikTok really became big. So that just was never anything I did. Why don't we just leave that? Like, let the Zios have TikTok, let them sit there and infest it and be their own little echo chamber. And people need to just go elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like, let them have that and let it be worthless. That's what I would do. I mean, like, I'm not on there, so I have no loyalty to TikTok, but is it that good that we care? Because wouldn't it be better if everyone got off of it and they were stuck there holding their dicks in their hands with nothing? Because I kind of think that would be more entertaining, but that's just me.
Well, as you guys will see as we go later into the evening, they are really running out of real estate. They do not know what to do. I do wonder about the safety of certain people who are speaking out, who have much larger platforms than we do. To put things in perspective, we've got almost, we're hovering closer to 600 live viewers right now, but there are certain large platforms that have 200,000 people watching at a given time. See, those people are dangerous to the state of Israel.
Right. We have that barrier, right? We figure before the powers that be would get to me and Peter, they'd have to get through a lot of bigger content creators with bigger platforms first, right? So, we'll start noticing if it works its way down. But once you're under the 100,000 subs, I'll start noticing. There's way bigger fish to fry than us.
Colin, are you able to get to the link? I know the Wall Street Journal, I think, generally has a paywall. Okay, so here we go. From the Wall Street Journal, TikTok in final talks to be bought by Silver Lake and Andreessen Horowitz. If you guys don't know who Mr. Andreessen is, you want to talk about a messed up guy, take a look at the interview he did with Joe Rogan. I
wonder if he's related to the North Miami Beach Horowitzes. Anyhow.
Maybe. TikTok, which the U.S. government moved to ban last year, is reportedly in the final talks to be bought by a small group of Zionist billionaires. Larry Ellison, the Oracle mega billionaire who has donated, you could just say he's the biggest donor to the IDF. You don't have to be shameful. Don't be bashful. Just say what needs to be said. Just had his kid buy Paramount CBS to have Barry Rice run it, is trying to buy CNN, and now will buy TikTok with Andreessen Horowitz. From a person that we would love to get on this podcast, so we've been trying for quite some time, Glenn Greenwald, one of the best journalists out there. Although, Glenn, if you ever come on here, we're going to read you the riot act about J.D. Vance. Have to keep it square, baby. Lucky break for Israel, and its support collapses in the U.S. Yes, it is collapsing. Please scroll. Let me read that last part up there by Glenn real quick, Colin. A big bonus is that Ellison, Andreessen Horowitz, and Silver Lake all have extensive multi-pronged ties to the U.S. military-industrial complex and CIA NSA. TikTok has been hiring ex-deep state from Facebook and Google to content moderate But now their owners are mega loyal. We all know why. But remember, the reason they have to do this is because they've lost the narrative. They don't know what else to do other than to censor the shit out of everything. Buy everything because they control the money supply. And by doing so, they think that they can stop the inevitable. I would argue that you can't stop what's coming. Israel is going to collapse. It is a pariah state, if it isn't already. And despite what someone who will not be named finally decided to call a genocide, there is such thing as a documented history of you not getting on board when you absolutely needed to, when hundreds of thousands of lives could have been saved, but you decided that your career was
it's more. Like, don't even do that anymore. Don't even, like, it's not funny. Like, I'm so angry at Bernie. Yeah, seriously.
The worst part about it is that he is the first sitting senator to actually say anything. Could you imagine 100 USA? I thought Elizabeth Warren was one of the good senators in the United States Congress.
I hate
What about Rand Paul? We don't expect anything from Ted Cruz. We don't expect anything from Rick Scott. We don't expect anything from 95% of the sitting senators. Senator Gallego, what the fuck were you expecting from him? What were you expecting from Schumer? What were you expecting from?
No, I wasn't expecting anything because those are all AIPAC goons, or Kufi goons, or whatever Zio lobby, is owning their asses. It's disgusting. All of this is just, and the only way to beat these people is them not making money, because the only thing they care about is money. So yeah, there has to be a boycott. And again, it's easy for me to say, I don't do TikTok. I couldn't care less. But like, people, get off TikTok. Like, seriously, get off the TikTok. Let the Zios have it.
And
it'll
people
be
spend
worthless.
way too much time on social media to begin with. Like, you get sucked in. That's the thing, guys. It is a soul suck. And if you think that the way to get paid and succeed in life is to, lick the balls of Donald Trump, for example, or dare I say Netanyahu, Milikowski, excuse me, my apologies, I said it wrong, Milikowski. That's not the answer. That's never going to be the answer. In fact,
the only way to beat these people is for them to not make money. That's it.